Good afternoon. Welcome to Serena's new podcast that I'm starting. I've done a couple of videos. I'm going to start doing it a little more regularly because I think that we all have some really important information that we need to hear and learn to change our lives and the world at large. So if you're not motivated for personal change, if you kind of notice that the world's messed up, I hate to break it to you, but it's all of our responsibility to turn things around and make it work. So today I'm going to talk about the superconscious mind. You can see this picture. It's that little circle that's right in the middle. I did another video talking about the subconscious mind, about 40 minutes long. It's a lot for some people to commit to, but it has a lot of really vital information of how our conscious mind and our subconscious mind don't really communicate too well with each other, and it explains why our lives don't really look the way we want them to, and why basically we do the things that we wish we didn't do, and we don't do the things that we wish we did, and as a result, we're not getting the success or happiness that we wish we had. So the subconscious mind is where a lot of our memories and our traumas, good, bad, or indifferent, it's all of our memories that are telling us how to feel, how to react, and how to, get along in life, and it judges a lot of our happiness factor. It inside of that is our superconscious mind. So forgive the artwork or the lack thereof. This is like a stick figure. This is meant to be wings so that you feel like your higher self. I know it looks like lungs. Anyway, as you can see, if this is your self that's living here in the 3D world, and this is your higher self, where those two overlap is at the level of the subconscious mind. So when we get information from our higher self, when we get information from our, superconscious, it communicates through that interface of our subconscious mind. That means that we may be getting information from our inner genius, our all-knowing self, our divine higher self, in things that don't really make much sense sometimes. We might get a flash of insight. That's pretty cool. We might get an image. We might get just a feeling or an impression. We might get something that we really haven't learned how to interpret what that is. So a lot of times we just kind of slough it off, or we don't pay much attention to it, when really this is some of the most important information that we have access to. By accessing our divine higher guidance, it could totally transform our life. Whether it's that we're working on an invention or project and we just don't know how to come up with the answer, if we can tap into that part of ourselves, that inner genius, that superconscious or higher self, that part of us has access to all information. That part of us has access to all knowledge, all wisdom, all power, all peace, joy, love, all the good stuff that we want resides in that higher part of ourselves. It gets a little distorted coming through our subconscious mind because we have sometimes, like I said, a lot of unresolved stuff, so it clouds the picture. And the more work that we do to clear out our subconscious mind, the clearer that information is able to come through. So it's sort of like if you're looking through a window, and on the other side of the window is perfection. On the other side of the window is everything that you need to know, everything that you want to tap into, and you're trying to see that clear picture, but there's a lot of dirt and grime and grease and all kinds of stuff on the glass. So you're not seeing a very clear picture. Now, we know that on the other side of that window is perfection. It's heaven. It's everything that we want, everything that we know we should have, the way things should be for ourselves personally and for the world at large. But we don't see it very clearly because we've got all this grime and dirt and grease on our window. The more time that we take cleaning our window, clearing out our limitations, limiting beliefs, our emotional traumas, all of the stuff that we're taught that some of it might be okay, it's just not necessarily our highest potential, our highest good. It gets in the way of seeing our true potential. So why is it important? that we tap into this. I mean, you might think, well, I'm not working on an invention. I don't really need any particular inspiration. Well, if there's any area of your life that isn't perfectly in harmony, perfectly successful, perfectly happy, perfectly with love, um, then it's of vital importance to tap into your superconscious or higher self, because that part of you is connected to the divine. That part of you is connected to the all, to God, to oneness. And it's able to see things from multiple perspectives at once. It's able to see how things can work together in harmony rather than in conflict. It doesn't have this perspective of duality that we're stuck in, where it's like, oh, well, it's me or them has to win. When we're tapped into the divine, amazingly, we may see how it can be a win-win for everybody. You know, we can have what we need, and other countries can have what they need. Rich people can have what they need without it being at the suffering of poor people or the working class. We can have all the energy we need without depleting the minerals or or harming the earth in any way. So it has a lot more inspired information, not only that we need for ourselves personally, but it holds all the solutions for the world's problems as well. So why are we not just readily able to tap into this, channel all this great information, and solve all of the world's problems readily and easily? Well, there may be some forces, there may be some people who kind of like things the way they are. You know, I'm king of the castle, and you're the dirty rascal. And for them, it's really, really working because they're in control, and they're at the top, and they're ruling everything. And it's working for them, and they kind of like that hierarchical pyramid scheme way of getting along in the world. The rest of us have been so traumatized or deluded or confused that we don't even recognize how far we are from how life should be. We should not be living in turmoil and conflict. We should be living in peace and joy. We should not be living in poverty and struggle. We should be living in abundance and freedom. These are our birthrights. This is how things are supposed to be. But we are so conditioned by our culture, by our society, by the government, by history, by everything that has come together to keep us from seeing our full potential, our divine potential as a God being. And we've also lost perspective of how every person is supposed to be living that way, in harmony with the earth, in harmony with each other, thinking creatively, finding problem solving creatively in a way that is in harmony with the earth and the well-being and health of every single person and every living being with that. But we don't have access to most of that information because of all that subconscious stuff. I mean, we're barely getting through our own day. We're trying to pay our bills. We're maybe not getting along with our spouse. We got kids that are driving us crazy. We got all kinds of stuff that happened to us when we were kids. We're just trying to get through it, man. It's hard. It's tough. It weighs you down. You don't have time to think about, how am I going to solve the world's problems? Oh, that's those other people's job. Well, they're happy to take the job if you're not willing to take it. Because it's working for them. So it really is our biggest job to find that inner peace, to connect to that divine wisdom. Your life will benefit greatly. And then the world around you will start to benefit greatly as we tap into this inner genius, this divine wisdom, where it can really be great for everyone. How do we do it? Well, the most important part is to set your intention that you want to do it. First, to believe that you do have a part of you that's divine. This part of you lives outside of the matrix, outside of the control, outside of the illusion and confusion and illusion. This part of you lives in that clear truth of knowledge and all-knowingness. So first of all, it's just beginning to know and understand that that's actually true. That you do have a part of you that is above all of this delusion and confusion and unworthiness and self-loathing and whatever else that's holding us back. Once you allow yourself to even contemplate and resonate with the truth of that, no matter how tiny that little flicker is, we all have that little flicker inside of us of truth that says we are divine. There's something more. I am not reaching my potential. I have more capability than I'm actualizing. It's sort of like the still small voice that Truman had on the Truman Show. His whole life was controlled, and every time he started to like maybe break free or have an idea that he was figuring it out, they would send somebody in to kind of, distract him or convince him that he was wrong and steer him back into just staying in his little controlled little world that they had constructed for him. But inside, there was always that little questioning voice, and we never get rid of that. Inside each one of us, we had that little, still, small voice letting us know this is not how it's meant to be. Something's wrong and messed up. And we're told that it's not our job to fix it. It's too big to fix. It's not realistic. I love that one. It's not realistic. It's too big for us. It's not too big for us. We are capable. We are powerful, and it is our responsibility because nobody's going to come save us. I don't care whether it's you're waiting for a religious savior or if you're waiting for government to save you. Nobody's going to save us but us. It's our responsibility. We can try to give that responsibility away, but we can't. And it's also within our power. And there's plenty of people trying to convince us that we're not that powerful, trying to keep our little square pegs in a round hole or vice versa. They've been conditioning us to do that since before we even go to school. But the truth is you are all powerful, you are capable, and you are responsible for your own well-being and for that of the world at large. So find some space, believe that it's true, know that this is your ability, and then create a space in your life, whether that's with meditation, taking a walk in nature, journaling, however it is that you tap in to that deeper self, that truer, wiser, all-powerful, all-knowing self. Begin to create a relationship with this part of you. And this part of you will begin to meet you halfway and to share its inner wisdom. And as you connect more and more, a lot of those false beliefs, a lot of those false notions and things that are holding you back will begin to burn off. In the light of truth, those false beliefs will begin to simply burn away. And more, as you choose to do it, you will come into the full knowledge and awareness of the truth of your divinity, your power, your knowingness, your love, your harmony, and your inspiration to help others to connect to this part of themselves too. And when we begin to do this, there's no stopping it. And nobody will be able to hold us back. We will come together and we will create great things and we will change our world. So I hope that you are inspired to at least enough to search, to think about it, decide if this feels true for you, no matter what you've been told, no matter what religious beliefs you've been raised with. Discern for yourself, feel into it for yourself. Connect to yourself. Don't trust in the words of any other man or me. Go within. Connect to that part of yourself that is perfect. Connect to that part of yourself that is knowing and wise, in control, peaceful, and develop a relationship with that part of yourself. Begin to bring that genius, that inspiration, that power, that peace into your everyday life. Become an inspiration for others. Begin to lead them into this possibility. And we will change our world. I love you all. I want great things I expect great things. I know we're capable of great things. And it's time. It's time to change it. And it starts with each one of us. Namaste.